So today I'm going to show you a wire, mine's going to be made out of copper, but just a way to make an ornament hanger. If you have a special ornament and you like to display it, show it off, you can make your own ornament hanger. You can use a coat hanger. You can use coated wire that you have already at your house, just something stiff enough to be able to bend it, shape it. And so without further ado, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with a piece of reclaimed copper, but you can use whatever material you'd like as long as it's sturdy enough to be able to bend. I kind of like to use reclaimed things because they have a history, and if y'all remember, I had stripped a electric box in Port Aransas that had been destroyed by Hurricane Harvey. And this piece of copper came from that electric box. So I'm just going to shape it into a circle. You can make an oval, a square, whatever shape you'd like. Just remember to make it big enough to hold the weight of the ornament. Now that I've got my circle, my base ready, I'm going to start trying to decide what shape I want the top. And to be honest, the copper is not, it's nice and malleable, so it's easy to shape, but it's so soft that I really would like to have made just an S-shaped hook and put a hook on the end, but it's so flimsy that I didn't figure it would hold the weight of any ornament, even a lightweight ornament. So because of that, I'm going to twist mine around in some loops to give it a little extra stability. Now, if you're using a sturdier wire, of course it'll be harder to bend and work with, but in the end, it will be nice and sturdy for your ornament. So it's really up to you. Like, you could use a coat hanger if you wanted, but imagine how hard it would be to shape that coat hanger. But if you were going to make the S shape like I originally wanted, a coat hanger wouldn't be that hard. Maybe a coat hanger spray painted into silver or gold, red or green. I kind of wanted to have a simple hanger so that the ornament would be the object of attention. But since I'm quite a bit of a color lover and I never know when to stop, I always have to go over the top and gaudy, I started thinking about adding some beads. So we'll see how I feel about it after I get the shape figured out. Most of my projects just go on the fly. I might see something and get an idea, but I don't want to do it like they did. I want to, it just gives me an idea of something to make. And then I want to just go with whatever comes. In this case, I was at my daughter's house and she said, "You ought to make some ornament hangers." And so I Googled ornament hangers and I looked at a couple of them and I just got inspired. I said, wow, there's something that would be fun to do. So here we are. Now this is not like any ornament hanger I've seen, so we'll just see how it turns out. If you're a crafter, it's awful fun to see. The idea you started with is usually not what you end up with, so it's kind of, that's the fun of the journey. Looking to see how it turns out. And sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it. As crafters, we're generally our own worst critic. And sometimes I'll make something, I think it's really cute. I'll put it away and then I'll come across it and I think, ugh, what was I thinking? It'll be hideous. But other times I think, oh, this is so-so, and then I'll find it and I think, wow, this is really cute. So, you know. Now I'm going to take some beads, since I kind of like the loops, but I feel like it needs something. So I've got this wire. It's from Crafter Square from the Dollar Tree, $1.25 tree. It's 26 gauge. And I threaded some of these little wooden beads, but you could use these plastic pony beads. You could use pastel beads. Those pony beads are from the Dollar Tree. The pastel and the beads that I'm using are from the N beads. You could also use those pearls, fake pearls, or letters and spell something out. Maybe put Noel down the top of it. Maybe with some smaller beads, not those giant letters. And the beads, actually, you could have used bigger ones instead of these little tiny ones. So I threaded some on the wire, and I'm just twisting around and then drop a bead. Twist around a time or two and then drop a bead. And I'm going to do these spiral and then see what I think. If I want to add more beads, maybe to the base, to the top. So here we go, fast forward, flying through the beads. And I will tell you, if you do it like this, put a loop on the end of your beads so they don't slide off. I figured that out the hard way. My beads kept sliding off. So when I get to the last bead here, I'm just going to cut the wire and bend it back under the last bead. Poke it under there. So there are my loops with my little beads. And remember, you can put the beads closer together, further apart. Maybe you want to use some big beads and just put 3 or 4 beads. But of course I couldn't stop there, so here we go. With some more beads. Trying to decide if I want them on the top, curve. If I want them on the bottom, next to the beads I already did, or if I want them on the base. I actually want them everywhere, because that's just me. So I think I'm going to put them up here on the top, and then see what it looks like, and if we need more or less. Generally less is more, but generally I like more. So I'm just going to make a little loop-de-loo up here on the top. And you could put a dot of E6000 under your wire. I'm going to put my, I'm going to loop my wire in there. Wait, let me check this ornament and make sure it can hold it. Yeah. But you see, if you have a certain ornament that you're making this for, you might need to bend the top back more to make the ornament center, to make it so the base can hold it. You'll just have to play around with it. I don't have an ornament in mind. This is just an ornament I had out because I'm going to do another craft with these ornaments. So I just want to get a feel for it and see how it's going. Yeah, that lines up pretty much right in the circles, so that's good right there. And I'm going to take the beads, and like I said, you could put a drop of E6000 or super glue, whatever. I'm just going to wrap mine and poke it under the bead, the starter bead, because since I'm using copper and I don't want it to tarnish, I mean, it's got a little bit of tarnish on it right now, which gives it the rustic look, but I cleaned most of the tarnish off. And so I'm going to seal it with a varnish afterward. So I believe the varnish will help to hold the beads still in place. Between the varnish and all the wrapping that's going to be going on. So we're just going to use the same technique. Wrap a couple times round, drop a bead. Wrap a couple times, drop a bead. Till I run out of beads or figure I have enough. And then I snip it off, tuck the end underneath the last bead. And this is what we have so far. And really, it needed some more on the bottom. I felt like then it looked too top heavy with just the beads on the top and the middle. So there's my varnish. I'm going to get some wax paper out and a paintbrush, and I'm going to cover it, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. And this is some coated wire I meant to show you. You could also use coated wire like a red or a green would be really nice. And it would be good and sturdy, and it's easy to bend. And then here's some other wire that's braided wire. There's lots of choices. I would say practice with whatever you have. Okay, here is the finished thing. I varnished it, and then it didn't have much of a shine, and I like everything to be all nice and shiny. So my favorite go-to, I gave it a couple coats of this clear glaze, and that's how it came out. You can see it has some shine. It's still not all the way dry, but it's done. And so I have another way to make a wreath ornament hanger, ornament display thing. So I'm going to do that in another video. But my next video, I've already gotten started on making some coral pieces because it is summer, and I figure a lot of people have been to the beach and maybe collected up some barnacle coral. And I'm going to show you how to put them together to make nice display pieces. So that's going to be my next video. So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.